Black Eye Perspective. Well, hello and good morning to everyone. Yep. So here's the deal. Just wanted to have a little gentle standard conversation with everybody today. Just going over a little bit of the roundup of some of the news that we may have covered this week and some news that we quite possibly did not cover this week. But the first question I have for everybody is, how are you? How in the heck are you? How are you? I hope you're all doing well. There has been a lot of different news going on in the past week, and so my goal today is to just bring you guys some information that you may already know and that you may not know, right? There's some stuff that you may or may not know, and as you guys come in, I will greet you with a very separated hello. But today what I want to do is take a look at some of the news that we have talked about. Now, first of all, we put up a couple of videos overnight, maybe like 2 or 3 of them. And then I've got another special one. Got actually 2 of them as I get adjusted in this seat. I got a couple of them that I want to let you guys know. I'll let you guys vote on it, whether you want it to be in Patreon, which it most assuredly could be, because it is one of the more, how do I say it? It's a very well created video. We actually had it, the vocals were sent out, had the vocals done. Literally, all my vocals were literally done like I used to do back in the old day when we did, music and such, like Dr. B mentioned the other day. So, I want you guys to decide, do you want it in Patreon or do you want it over here? But I think we're probably going to go with Patreon based on the nature of the video that has been created. Now, mind you, it's very short, but it is very impactful. It's got a lot of stuff in that small moment of time. So before we get into reading some of the news today, I want to say hey to some of the early birds. How you doing there, Robert M. Stahl? It's good to see you. Daryl, how you doing? And Stacy, hey. Starfire Horizon, girl, can't nobody stop you. You are an opinionated sister. I have read your stuff in the comment box, and baby, I want to tell you, when I say go in, you go in. Daryl Watts, how are you today? William Craig, I love you so. And here's my baby. Hello there. How are you, Charlie Sigler? It is so good to see you. And my sister and armor bearer, Sandy Aaron, good to see you as well. All of you seem to be doing good. Later dates for free. Why not? You don't have Patreon? Well, you know what? Daryl, here's what I was thinking. The quality of it is such a decent quality, and gee whiz, it's a very good video. Now, here's the deal. Not everything that I record or everything that I upload or everything that I talk about is my personal opinion. I choose stories sometimes that are way out, way out there, Daryl. And sometimes when I choose those stories that are way out there or may seem to be a little right or left or, showing the paradigm between the two, a lot of times people will say, well, gee whiz, I don't agree with that. And I don't think you should promote it or you should agree. But see, I come from the old school. And the old school was you simply read the copy. And when it's commentary, you do thus. You give your commentary. Or you give a rebuttal, right, to somebody else's commentary. That's old school. That's me. That's what I do. But this particular story is one that I think is up for a good conversation. It would make a great coffee topic. It would make a great topic to have over lunch, with you and a few friends. Maybe you guys want to chat about it. And it's one of those types of topics. Now, the video is done, the rendering is done, all the editing is done, everything is done. We've married all the audio and made sure that it matches the screen and all that good stuff. But the deal is, I'm waiting to get one person's approval because I use their items and I need to know how they want it cited. And if I do not get that information back from them, unfortunately, I will have to take that out and stick some other stuff in there, but it will still stay the same thing. Does that make sense? Luckily, it's just a video. It's not necessarily my audio. Again, all that's done. And when you guys don't see me, I'm generally recording either for myself or somebody else. So with that said, I want to say, hey, I see Charlie saying, great to see you too as well. And Starfire Horizon says, I like Patreon. I'm just broke. Girl, you not broke. You just got to move some money around. That's all. You just got to move some money around. Think about that long enough and you'll get some appreciation for that phrase. Okay, Knowledge 2020. It is so good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, folks, hit the likes. Yes, you understand, Daryl? So here's what we're going to do today. Hey, La Reina. La Reina. La Reina. That means queen. What's going on, queen? How you doing? Um, yeah, so I think that's what we're gonna do, you guys. You know what I mean? But if you gotta protect your audience and protect your news channel, do what you gotta do. That's the reason why I'm thinking. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm gonna say something, Starfire. Sometimes you can have that mindset and you can do that. And then you can go to a bevy of other channels and you can see the exact same thing sitting there with no problem at all. And it gets you a little, you get a little beside yourself because you're trying to figure out what gee whiz, I didn't say half the stuff these folks are saying. Then you sort of figure, well, okay. That means you know that you need to walk the line a little tighter, sister. And that's why you see a lot of stuff in the comment box. I'll laugh at it, I'll chuckle at it, but I already know that if it's going to cause any issues or problems, because I got to think like those folks think, sometimes I have to delete them and I don't want to. And sometimes there's times where we're live where I have to delete stuff and I don't want to. You know what? I feel like, I don't like the censoring stuff. I mean, I think that's to me, and that's just me. I just believe that I don't care what you say. You should be able to say it. As long as you're not coming out attacking somebody. And conversely, if you attack the right person and that person get back at you verbally, I'm saying, if you say something to somebody verbally, you should be in a position to be prepared for them to come back. I come from that old place of, the old your mama jokes. Back in the day, people used to talk about the mama jokes. That's me. Coming from back home and where I was raised in California. They played the dozens. We'd be on the bus and this one would be going. There was this guy named Brian, and Brian used to go with this other guy named Robert, and they would go back and forth. I mean, they would just go at each other's mamas. First of all, I loved it because it took that bus ride way down. It felt like that 30-minute bus ride was only 15 minutes of fun. And then you see now where people get so offended by stuff that's said. And some of the things that you guys are saying in the chat, I totally get it. You guys are saying stuff here in the comment box, and I totally get it. But here's the bad part. They change rules on us so much that you want to make sure that if, just like you just said, you got to get the word out, you got to get the news out, right? You don't want to sacrifice that for something that you may think was really, a good, well made, because now you got to tiptoe through the tulips. You got to tiptoe through the tulips. It's like, somebody comes to your house, and even though in their home it may not be a bad thing to do, and they put their feet up on your coffee table. Well, you invited them in the house, and they've got to, go by your no foot on the coffee table rule. Well, they know, respectfully, they've got to get up and go to their house if they want to do that. And so here, because it's their platform, my goal is to continue to get the word out, but I cannot sacrifice the word for breaking their rules when it's their house. You feel me? It's their house. And I would never ever be able to touch or get a hold of so many people, and they know that. They know that there's a bevy of other places we can go. Most of us are. But if you go check my numbers out on those other platforms, you're like, eek, yikes. And that was a good video. I actually saw that video. You're thinking to yourself. So, you got to play the game. You got to do what they want you to do. And sometimes that means that you just got to chill. And so that's why I ask for you all to just govern yourselves accordingly in the comment box or in the live chat. Hey, you want to say something that makes a lot of good sense? Send me an email. I will listen and we will respond, and we will get back with one another. We'll talk, we'll chat, as I do now with several people. Lots of folks. Some of you right here in the chat right now, you guys will send me things. As a matter of fact, some of the stories that I've gotten that we're going to be looking at today are literally from some of the members of the chat. Yeah. A lot of them are. And so my point is, I saw the other night, a lot of people were offended. Oh, gee whiz, they censored me, or they took my words away, I understand, honey. Trust and believe I do. You see how loquacious I am, so I like to chat too. I like to say what I need to say. But we just have to be, we got to be mindful. We're in somebody else's house. So at least Darren says he understands. And hey, Fifi from Lorena. Teresa, how's it going, sister? Be kind. Good to see you. Yes, yes, yes. And our brother is welcoming everybody, as I say on the Lockhart Perspective and here, which will eventually be, I would say TLP, Headlines with a Voice, and Headlines with a Voice will be merged. So if you are a subscriber on the other channel, within the next 2 weeks, they will all be merged. Okay, so you, because I'm running, I'm running over here, I'm running over there, I'm running over here and there. So it's better to know where I'm going. And in 2022, you need to know where you're going. Okay, you just got to know. Oh, yeah, sometimes that's the deal. People bigger than you making crazy statements to bigger audience. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm like, yikes, they said it. So that means I can't say it because I'm a little old girl from Mississippi? No, because they just don't want you to say it. It don't matter. Maybe they making more cash off them other folks. Who knows? Who knows? Machine as a metaphor is the main thing. Serve you. Robert, I looked back at some of your comments in the last, in some of the last things that we're doing, and you're very unique. I've missed you on the Lockhart Perspective. I haven't seen you over there for a while, but you are very unique. I love the way you think. You think very strategically and on purpose. And, you know, you guys have to say, I like people who think like that. If you're thinking on purpose and you're thinking strategically and outside of the box, child, you got my vote any day. The same thing applies to those, yes. And there are certain things that we cannot talk about in the chats. They just don't want you doing it. You know what I mean? As if you can see, if you look on the Dr. B video, I mean, baby, when I said I came up with every legal beagle disclaimer, yeah, you look on there, I mean, it's got, I think it's like 3,000 characters. I left 2,000 on the table, but still 3,000 characters. They changed them, yes, again, and they just sent it out again just recently, and they changed it again. See, now this right here, Teresa, that statement right there, we can't have that. Yeah, that statement right there, that's a statement that we can't have. And again, this ain't my house, this is their house. So I'm going to ask you to remove that. And you know what? We do that a lot of times, folks. We'll ask people to remove it themselves because we don't want to remove it. And then maybe they don't remember or they don't see it or maybe they can't catch it or they can't get back to it. And then one of the mods will go on ahead and remove it for them. So that's that. All right, folks. So here we go. Sponsored people spreading. Yes, 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 yes. You said it, sister. And you got to make sure that your words are, sort of, veiled, like what Teresa's got there. You see. Yeah, but you can't do it too much, right? Because, Monty said, eventually it'll get smart and it'll figure it out. But you got to use stuff that they just don't get at all. They just don't get at all. Um, mm, All right, folks. So let's get into some of these stories that we've got. Let me show you something. Some of our subscribers sent this, and they sent it to Felicia, which is just like Felicia, okay? But long story behind why my mother made me pronounce it correctly. Felicia at Felicia Lockhart with no E.com. Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. Susan, how are you, honey? Oh, I love that beautiful little equine you have as your thumbnail. How are you doing? It's good to see you today, precious. Christ Soldier, how are you and how have you been? You made some very good comments last week, too. You guys are very smart. I love this crew over here. I love you guys up here. You guys are off. Thank you, Daryl. I'm going to make you the cat that makes sure that everybody know. Okay? So just use that every now and again when you see it. You know what I'm saying? Just say, hey, sister, brother, go ahead and use these codes. But did you guys know, here are some of the stories that have been coming to me. And some, I want to start here because there is more to this. Okay? Some stories that are sent to me by viewers like you. This one came the other day. But it reminded me of something that happened just in September in the same region, right? So this story comes out of this company that's listed there. Yeah, we use wisdom. 89 Africans are killed by a mysterious new illness emerging in South Sudan. Make sure that I'm 5x5. You guys let me know if I'm 5x5 so that way we don't have to worry about a bunch of low sounds of people saying, I could not hear you at all. What's your problem, lady? So this goes on to say that just as the latest Delta-driven wave of SARS-CoV-2 washes over parts of the United States that already benefit from some of the country's highest vaccination rates, the WHO has dispatched an advanced team of researchers and doctors to South Sudan, situated in northern Africa, where 89 people have been killed already by some strange new virus. And this is according to the Daily Mail that they have listed here in this piece. So we're reading verbatim, right? Yeah, we are giving them their props as well. Now it goes on to say that South Sudan's Ministry of Health reported to that an unknown disease had killed scores of people in the northern town of Fangak in Jonglei State. Now the WHO dispatched a team to the area, which is one of the worst areas that were hit by the most recent flooding that they had. And so they sent people there to collect samples from sick individuals who are there. And the doctors apparently came from, because I think they're overseen by France, by Médecins Sans Frontières. And if I need correction, I'd like somebody here to do it, and I appreciate you. So it goes on to say that according to the Daily Mail and the BBC, quote, we decided. I don't understand why they say that, because that's unnecessary. If you're the WHO, and you're going to send it, right? You're going to do it. So anyway, they go on to say that we decided to send a rapid response team to go and do risk assessment and investigation. And that is why that is when we'll be able to collect the samples from the sick people. But provisionally, the figure that we got was that there were at least 89 deaths. And this comes from the WHO, from Sheila Baya. That's who she is. She's the WHO's Sheila Baya. Now, Bea and the team of scientists had to reach Fangak via helicopter due to the severe flooding, which I honestly think is a really big story, huge story. Adding that the group, they're waiting for transport to return them to the capital, Juba, on this past Wednesday. They go on to say, quote, we are extremely concerned about the malnutrition, with severe malnutrition levels, times the 2 times the level of the WHO's threshold. The number of children admitted into the hospitals with severe malnutrition is doubling since the start of the floods. Again, I believe that's the bigger story, right? Because you have some 700,000 people who were impacted by the flooding in the area, and that includes having food shortages, illnesses, and those are putting tremendous strain, as it says here, on their few healthcare resources that are available in the area. But seeing as the Omicron variant seemingly first emerged in Southern Africa, and I've got my own opinion about that. It's too bad we can't just all get into like one big Zoom room and just talk about it, because I got an opinion about this. All right. It says the whole world is probably wondering what fresh HE double hockey sticks this might be, or might this be. So, yeah, that was the end of that story. But what do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? Yeah. Now, remember, this is the exact same area that suffered a coup not long ago. It is the same area that had their military pretty much overthrew everybody. There was a big coup there, threw them to the ground. Yeah, threw them all out, kicked them to the curb. Any other colloquialism you can think of. All righty? All right. So, yeah, what do you think? I mean, 89. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this can go in a bevy of ways that may be convenient. Knowledge 2020. Thank you, baby. That could be convenient for them. You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean? So now, Kyle Solers, please self-correct. Please self-correct. Thank you, baby. All right. So, yeah. Oh, you guys are awesome. I love y'all with the 5x5s. Okay. Something strange going on for sure. See? Yeah. Hey, Rick Explorer. How are you? It's so good to see you. How are you? It's good to see you. I'm glad. Oh, and I mentioned to Dr. B, I spoke to him this morning, and I told him that you really enjoyed his show, and so thank you. And I'm glad you guys were so courteous to watch that replay. Thank you. But I did have a whole bunch of junk going on in the beginning of it, didn't I? Oh, goodness gracious. I looked back at that. I said, why did I just cut that? I downloaded. I should have just cut all all that stuff. Anyway, I guess it gives to the ambience of having been there, right? Makes you feel like you were there. But I do believe that there's something else, and I think that conveniently this will be turned into something else, because we're at the end of the year here, and there's always space for something new to catch you. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where I think that's going. That's where I think that's going. I think that it's going into a direction that it's going to be convenient. Dan Shrimp, Dan Shrimp. Hey, baby. Did Billy? I don't know. I don't know. I know he's gotten put out of a lot of places. Charlie Sigler, he got put out of a lot of places, right, Charlie? I know Charlie mentioned. I think it was you, Charlie, that mentioned it. It may not have been on the other channel, but I know that yeah, he's been put out of a lot of places. And then I did get a story that I can't read here, but I'll just give you to the roundabout of what it means. They're basically saying that they're basically saying that they self-correct that one for me, baby. They're basically saying that somebody wants him and that somebody put out something to get him. So who knows exactly who actually knows? Who knows? Right, Teresa? You see, you know. So who knows? Who knows what's really up? But we just have to keep our eye on this because I guarantee you it's going to be some new something, and it'll be like the eat your leg off, virus or something out of this world that's so convenient that they can just I think fear is a very big motivator to push people to do things that you want them to do, and I'll just leave that there. Now we do have another story. We're going to move on down a little bit, and I want to talk about the fact that the United States Air Force, my father is Air Force, all right, my dad was Air Force, he was an engineer in the Air Force, later went on to work in a lot of big aerospace and stuff like that, as an engineer. And so I like the Air Force stories. And so this is an Air Force story. But my question is, Jimmy TV, what's good? Did you all hear about the tickety tockety going on about the you know what? I did hear about some of that, but it was yesterday for some high schools and all the schools in the United States. Was that what you? I don't know. Just email me, Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com, and we can chat about it. So here's my sweetie. Okay, yes. Sorry, cooking son, but I heard you loud and clear. Okay, cool beans. Um, I never took that dance card. What's that? I never took that dance card. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I like that one too. That one works. See, we got to think outside the box. We're smarter than they are. Here it is, you guys. Look at this story from the Air Force. I was a little taken aback because, it was my dad that made us dressing correctly. And he made sure that my brothers, shirts were inside of their pants. And, they never would walk around. If they walked around like this today, my brothers wouldn't be around. But the rules are now getting a little bit more relaxed, right? They're getting very relaxed now. So now you can just, you can put your hands in your pocket. You can put your look at it, look at the outfit. You can put your hands in your pocket now. So now the new Air Force rules allow hands in the pockets, and they have a slew of uniform appearance changes. A boatload of them. This story was written or produced, I should say, and published on the 7th of December, 2021, and it comes from military.com. Right? So this is their words. I'm just narrating it. I'm just sharing it with y'all. Okay, so it goes on to say that loosened Air Force dress appearance and standards have taken effect, giving the armed airmen license to put their hands in their pockets and talk on cell phones while walking, among other changes. The rules were implemented on last Friday or the Friday before the 7th, and it also allows men with an extra half an inch of bulk of hair or cosmetic scalp to tattoos. Now, do you know what a scalp tattoo is? It's like, you want to put it in there and make it look like you got more hair. But I'm going to give you men some tips. Remember, I'm a licensed master cosmetologist, and I can give you guys some tips if you don't want that bald patch. Okay, I will give y'all that free. Y'all let me know if you want me to do that, because I could just talk to the men one day, and then we could just talk to the women one day. We did a woman show on the other channel, and we talked about your skin and all that, and then we talked about self-care. But if you men want to know how to take care of that thinning hair, where it'll turn around, your girl got you. Okay? So what they're saying is that they use the scalp tattoos to create a natural hair appearance to compensate for thinning hair. Women are now permitted to have eyelash extensions of their natural hair color and they can wear headbands or scrunchies up to 2 inches wide. And also hosiery is optional for their dress uniforms. Help here, help here. Oh, I am cringing inside. Foundations should never be optional for wearing dress uniforms. Ever. That should be the one thing that you should make sure that you do, is that you have on your foundations. A woman should always have on her foundations. That's just that. Oh my goodness. So the hosiery is also optional. And in all or more than 30 recommended changes were placed. Listen, in all, more than 30 recommended changes were put into place based on testing and feedback from the airmen and reviews by the 2020 Air Force Uniform Board. Okay? Now, this is what the service said, that in August, they did all this stuff. They said in August, though, not all were revealed at that time, which means that it's about to get crazy. It also goes on to say that hair dye is authorized for both men and women. That's a negative, Batman. But you see, I'm old school, okay? That's just the way my brain works. It says that the dye for the men. Now, women, I don't know, we sort of color our roots. And y'all know, I go from no hair to lots of hair, to blonde hair, to my black natural color hair, to my salt and pepper, which is my real existence right now. And I don't care, but I'm not in the military. Something about being uniformed, right? There's something about being uniformed, all right? That's what I think. So now, hair dye is authorized for both men and women so long as it is a naturally occurring hair color. They should have opened that box. It does not necessarily have to be the airman's own natural color. A mix of colors, such as a salt and pepper look, is also okay if it maintains the natural appearance. The rule states male airmen still need a medical or religious waiver to wear beards, but the new regulations will allow medical officials to authorize waivers for the former reason. Pardon me. I got to move the screen and turn it over a little bit more now. Okay. There we go. And they will allow that for the former. So that means you can still, for religious reasons, if you're Hebrew or whatnot, you can wear your beard or, whatever. You can wear your beard, which is crazy. They should have already allowed that. If you come in, you tell them what you are, they should know, okay, this cat's going to have to wear a beard. Some men don't like them, though. Some men say that it shouldn't, they put bumps and all that other stuff. All right, so another change to the facial hair standards is that it lets the airmen with shaving waivers, known as profiles, shave or trim their hair as necessary to present a neat, clean, professional image. The new standards also are a line requiring commanders and supervisors to monitor progress in the treatment to control these waivers. The updates were aligned with the standards and cultures that maintain our focus on war fighting. I don't understand how you can. You guys seem like you're turning into a club. As far as the stringent entry of going into the military, you guys were always the easiest of the battery of sorts, or the grouping. But now I think that you guys are really, really going to be null and void in a second here, especially considering that they've got 2 other arms that they just added. They may sort of kick you guys to the curb, and that's sad. That's really not good. Not good at all. So it does go on to say that the new standards also remove a line requiring commanders and supervisors to monitor progress. We read that part. And the updates were aligned with the standards and the culture to maintain focus on warfighting while providing options to meet many of the needs of our airmen. Now, this is a quote, apparently, that came from Lieutenant General Brian Kelly, Air Force Deputy Chief of Staff for Manpower, Personnel, and Services. This is what he said in a statement in August. Now, the story goes on to read that airmen are not allowed to tuck in the OCP uniform coat or fold its sleeves inward if needed for work, which is commonplace or common practice for the special operations troops. In addition, they may wear their physical training shirts untucked. There are also several changes affecting the wearing of jewelry in various uniform accessories and decorations. Thumb rings and transparent earring spacers are allowed, for example, as are sweatbands on the PT uniform. Now, airmen can also add Velcro pin holders and morale patch accessories to the OCP uniform or wear certain foreign insignias and badges outside the country that conferred them. I have a problem with that, but then again, I'm old school and I got a problem with that. So morale patches must be command approved and maybe also worn on the two-piece flight duty uniform. Some changes remove restrictive language about specific behaviors. For example, the old rules prohibited airmen in uniform from drinking water while walking, or from putting their hands in their pockets while walking or standing still. Boy. The extent is to allow the airmen and non-commissioned officers and commanders more flexibility to make such decisions based on changing situations and circumstances, Kelly said in August. Now, uniformed airmen are still prohibited from drinking beverages other than water except as authorized by commanders during special functions. And they may talk or text on cell phones while they are walking. Things that they are already complaining about in the natural, on the economy, just in the regular civilian world, they're already complaining and giving out tickets in certain states and cities for talking on your cell phone or looking down at it, texting while walking. Okay. But not our Air Force. So, okay, no problem. So it's now subject to other military customs and courtesies that take precedence, such as saluting. Now, how can you salute, or how can you be astute to salute if you're looking down and texting while walking? This is not a social club, but that's what they're turning it into. And you can see that I'm very, 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 very disturbed about this. So now it also goes on to say that these new rules apply to the Space Force as well. Well, Space Force reminds me of F-Troop. Okay? Space Force literally reminds me of F-Troop. So there's that. Now you add that to F-Troop and you got a mess. Who, as well as until, it goes on also to say as well as, as well as, the phone ringing threw me off. I'm sorry, you guys. The new rules apply to Space Force as well, unless and until separate guidance or service guidance is published. Now, that instruction says that the guidance will then supersede the Air Forces in the new service. So now we've got a couple of other places that they have some type of space deal going on. So now we got Space Force. Now we also got the whole UFO force, which tells me in a minute they're not going to have any Air Force because they're allowing folks to run around now wearing their own eyelashes. They're big eyelashes. So let me show you, when I think of an eyelash as a cosmetologist, let me show you what I think of as an eyelash. Okay, because this is how far it can go. Remember, they said the eyelashes must be in the natural shade, right, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, so now there's 44 of us in the house. I want to see you guys put up, let me know what you think about this. Should this be permissible? This type of eyelash, because see, look here. All they said was it had to be the natural hair color. That's all they said. It needed to be the natural hair color. So here you go. You see that? People gonna take stuff too doggone far. And those are not the most outrageous. Oh no. They're beautiful if you're gonna look at them. They look like bats. Look at that. You're gonna be running around in combat rocking that? Who does that? Where do they do that? Where do they do it? Look at that. I'm telling you, they're going to take stuff too far. Now, that's a nice look if you're just hanging around. Her eyelashes, that's not bad. You know what I mean? She's just hanging around. Not a problem. But where does it stop? I beg you, where does it stop? Where does it stop? Does it end here? Does it end here? Is this where it ends? Where does it end there? Is that where it ends? As pretty as that is, do they end there? No. Not to mention the fact that these things are stripped in with glue. So now you got a whole bevy of other issues to deal with. Don't forget, they said it. Yes, they did. They said it. They said that you can now wear eyelashes. For what? Do you see that? I mean, that's amazing. Women are now permitted to have eyelash extensions of their natural hair color. They never said anything about the length. They never said anything about the length. And I already know anybody who would wear them, they're going to take stuff too far. You give somebody a rope, they're going to want to be a cowboy. I guarantee it. So now our military, in my opinion, has become a laughingstock. Notice they're only doing it for the Air Force. You got caught blank doing that crap in the other branches. If you got caught dead doing that other stuff in the other crap, you would not be around. That's right. That's right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, yeah, that's where it's going to be. You see that, Daryl? You see that, Teresa? Lorena, what do you think about that? Look at that. Netta, what do you think? This is amazing. But these are the things that we think are important enough for us to have a chat about in our military. I mean, our military thinks that this is something that needs to be spoke of. Because of course we have to get the morale of the people. We gotta work with their morale. Yeah, you can do that. No, on a Saturday when you are off, you can do whatever you want. Whenever you have your time for your, rest and relaxation, you can do whatever you want. But now what happens when somebody gets an infection? Because this does happen quite often. Again, this is what I do. Okay, this is what I done told y'all. Master cosmetologist, and I know everything wrong that can happen. Couple that also, okay, with having several salons that I was responsible for. Several. I can tell you some of the things that are going to happen. It's going to be a nightmare. We should not be, as a military, focusing on that kind of stuff. As our military shouldn't be focusing on it. But I'm going to tell you something. They have weakened the military far more than you can ever imagine. What we see that we think we know, we ain't know nothing. We ain't know nothing. Because I guarantee you, if they have gotten down to the point where this is a morale booster, having this as a conversation, then that means they have tore that military down on a regular. If we've gotten to the place where this is a conversation, where this is now a conversation, yeah, they've done a lot more damage than I think any of us know. Anytime this becomes the talk of the town, we give you the rule, you can wear this now. I'm telling you, you guys hear me going on and on, but I guarantee you it ain't your mama and your daddy's former military. It ain't my daddy's military. It's not even my former husband's military. It ain't even my son's or my brother's military. Okay? It's just because I see past this here. I know that means that y'all done really went off the rail. If this is what we're talking about right now, putting hands in pockets, listen, putting hands in your pockets shows you're idle. Hands in the pockets mean you are idle. Why would a military person who's supposed to be on point at all times with his eyes open and her eyes open, if that's what her vocation she's chosen to be in, okay? All right. Why would you say it's okay to put your hands in your pocket? I mean, you ain't got nothing to do? Let me put a broom in your hand, if anything. Let me give you something to do. Yeah. Let me give you something to do. Because for us to now be having this conversation, that means that there is a lot that's gone under the wire that the American people have paid for, and we've got no idea is going on. Yep. That's exactly what I think. I think that now this conversation has gone to another place. And because of that, these are now the conversation. Mind you, this is her natural hair color, right? You see her braids are separate at the top. That's her natural hair color, is the brown, black, whatever, right? She's got top and bottoms. Did you know that they can put tops and bottoms on? They can put a top lash and a bottom lash on. Where will it end? And that's a natural color. That doesn't have blues like her hair does. You know, her braids got blue in it, but the lashes don't have blue. The lashes don't have green. So we'll have our Air Force women walking around like this. Where does it stop? What if a guy wants to wear them? Can he wear them? Well, why not? You let her wear them. This is a mess. Out of everything else that we're dealing with right now in the United States, this is our problem. This is a thing that we decided, okay, well, we got to do this. You see? Now, we've got to be kind and fair to you guys. We got to let you guys do this. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to wear them. Listen, theater major. You know, I wore them. I worked for MAC Cosmetics for years, and it was part of our actual uniform. If you did not rock your lashes, you were not dressed. But we makeup artists. We are makeup artists. We're selling product, and part of the product is the eyelashes. This is for the Air Force. This is for the Air Force. This is a shame. That means, and here's my point to bringing this up, and please, please focus on what I'm saying. This means that it is deeper than we think as far as the demise of our military. For this to be a conversation, we thought that they were weak and we were not covered or protected by them. This tells you that it's deeper than that. You have that, plus they want you to get rid of your buddy that you keep at the house, that you keep in the car. They want you to get rid of your buddy. Then you also have no strength in your military. That means a goose could be cooked. Yeah, put it all together. That's why I'm talking about it. Because this goes deeper than just, oh, I want to wear these. For us to even have this, that means we're already gone. We spent. We are spent. And that's not cool. That's not cool. No, it isn't. Well, a little bit more is going on with the militaries of the United States here. So now, listen, remember what I just got through saying, that I think that perhaps we're going to be moving the people around in a minute, and that maybe they're going to start shrinking other parts of the military. Did you know that the Space Force Guardians grow 10%? They have grown 10%. Now, 10% of an active body, that's a lot. 10% that's a lot. So Daryl says, I'm old school Air Force, and you were never caught putting your hands in your pockets when you were standing around and things like that. You always had to make sure that you were always had them ready. Your hands need to be ready no matter what. That's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. You can't be ready. Hey, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Okay? Teresa. Doomed, 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 doomed. Okay. Teresa said, doomed. Curtains. Okay? It's curtains. I'm telling y'all it's curtains. You better not give up your buddy. Keep your buddy. Keep your buddy. Do the math. Figure out what I'm talking about. Because if that's supposed to, they're the ones that's supposed to be protecting you. As far as, from anything outside. But outside is already inside. Yep. How do they have time for that? Exactly, Teresa. How indeed? How do they indeed? How do they indeed? They don't have time. Because first of all, the reason why I mentioned the ones that were literally the kind that you have to put on with the glue strip is because a lot of people who wear them see those as I mean, for a night, yes, maybe. But a lot of people wear them permanently, the same way that they have a weave put in their hair. And that can be, for 2 months or a month or however long they keep it. They can put these on and they can be individually set inside the lashes, as you may already know. And once that happens, they're there. But you also get reactions to this kind of stuff. So with that said, yikes. That's all I want to say for that. Troy, what's going on? Okay? They're just starting with the Air Force, Troy says. I agree with him. Yeah. They're testing the water, right, Troy? They are testing the water, making them look like, You may have to self-correct that one, but you're right on that one. Like I said, a lot of stuff y'all say, I agree. Hey, Jules, what's going on? How are you? It's good to see you. Aaron, how are you? I'm just greeting some folks that I see that just came in, and you're one of them. How you doing? How you doing? Yes, yes, yes. All right, so let's get into the next story, because the next story is part and parcel of what's going on. And that's the reason why I say they may make them feel like really comfortable now. Like, yeah, no problem. Put on whatever you want, ladies. If you want to wear your eyelashes, put them on. You want to wear them? No problem. Do your magic. Hey, man, you can put that color in your hair. Go right ahead. Frankly, I don't understand. Listen, you men out there that are coloring your beards and coloring your hair when you are salt and pepper, listen, I don't know if it's just for you that you're feeling like you need to do this, or if you feel like absolutely smoke and mirrors. Absolutely, I see what you say. Yep. I don't know whether you're feeling like it's just something that you feel like you have to do because you want to make yourself feel better, or you want to, recapture your youth or whatnot. And all of that is good. But from a woman's standpoint, you don't have to touch. You don't. You don't have to touch your bald head. Let the hair go if you want to go. But you ain't got to touch that salt and pepper. You don't have to. Listen, even younger women like the salt and pepper. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Leave your hair alone. You've no idea what all that stuff does to you. You've no clue. Trust me. Trust me. I tint. I go really short and I tint. Okay? All right? So I'm just letting you know that. Y'all look good. You look fine. You don't have to do all of that stuff to yourself. Men with salt and pepper hair and a beard with salt. Look at Daryl. You better work, brother. And Charlie looks excellent. Excellent. I mean, he's got the beard work. You guys rock that. You earned it. Every bill y'all done set up here and paid. Y'all done paid your bills and paid your bills on time. You done got your stuff taken care of. Okay? Got your houses paid off or close to it. You earned that. Wear that. You earned it. And women think it's sexy. Just bottom line, women find it sexy. Not the dodo dum-dums that don't. I'm talking about women. I'm talking about real women. Women that can help you get some stuff done. Okay? I'm talking about a lady. Somebody that can help you. Somebody that can enhance you. Somebody that can help build you up while you are finishing in your retirement years or whatever it is. Rock your gray, brother. Rock it. And the chick that don't like it, she just illuminated herself that that's the one to avoid. Keep it pushing, especially if you're a single man. If you're a married man, well, I'm sure your wife tells you that she loves it. But if you are a single man, look at that. Look at Charlie. You better work, baby. Yeah, but if you're maybe a widowed gentleman or a man who is, single of a certain year, of a certain age or whatnot, leave your hair alone. Okay? Leave your hair alone. All right? You got cats out here right now literally graying their hair. I had somebody come to me and say, it's about 4 years ago, I just want pure gray hair. And I'm like, wow, you really want that? You think you want that? Still have all this melanin in your hair. And if you think it's going to come out gray, okay, all right. You think I want white, gray. Okay. Okay, no problem. Yes, you earned it, William. You earned it, baby. Wear it. Wear it. All right, now looky here. the Space Force Guardians to grow 10% with the influx of soldier and sailor Marine transfers. What do you think that means? Maybe somebody's getting a little tired of the garbage that they're having go on there, but now they go into Space Force. But why? Why Space Force? Possibly because Space Force and the UFO Force are going to be one force. Possibly. Because, I don't know, did they decide where they're going to put this place last year? I thought it was supposed to be in near the Arsenal in Huntsville, Alabama. Then I also heard they were arguing about putting it up near the Denver airport at that base. So I don't know. I stopped following after that because I thought that's just stupid. If the last cat said put it there, then put it wherever they wanted to put it and leave it alone. But this story was written in September the 30th of 2021, and this is from military.com. It goes on to say that the Space Force on Thursday of that month, remember the time frame, announced that 670 active duty soldiers and sailors, as well as Marines, have been selected to transfer into the military's newest branch in 2022. So they just snatched these cats. But then you got other inner transfers. So now this inter-service transfer will grow the Space Force's ranks of uniformed guardians. Guardians. Y'all, do you guys, hold on, I got to come back on this side. I need to ask you guys, do you all understand the verbiage that they're using? Guardians were in the sky. Okay? Guardians. Space Force. They're calling them guardians. They know a lot more than they're letting on to. They know a lot more than they're letting on to. So no mention of Air Force. You see that? But that doesn't mean that they will not be moving. This again, just like our friend of the channel just got through saying, that's the one they starting with. Smoke and Mirror says Space Force is Trump's baby. Nothing good is coming from that. And he ain't gone for good. I don't like it, but I got to tell you guys. I don't like it, but I got to tell you. Okay? Susan says, I don't need a guardian. That's what all that 700 billion was. That's exactly right. What we just read last week, right, Teresa? We just had that. You all were here. Space Force is to promote fake space godless universe and the next deception, fake alien invasion. Absolutely. Keep your eyes open on 2024. Keep your eyes open before then. But I do want to let you guys know something that if you have not already studied on some of, which is back to the topic that we had at the very top of the hour, where we were chatting and we were basically saying the story that I have. Okay? Putting some things out there. And again, not every story that I bring to you is necessarily something that I agree with, but it does allow you to have your mind focused and it gets your thought processes rolling together. Okay, I'll leave that there. But the story that I'm going to bring, when I bring it, I may either bring it here directly or I may put it on Patreon. Either way it goes, you guys will see it. And it does have a lot to do with the whole unhinging of some of the mindsets that we've been given. Those who don't belong to the Most High gonna need a guardian, though. That's absolutely right, Aaron. And we all know that. Something is in the crock pot. Yes, it is, Teresa. Teresa, you learn fast. Alan Davis, Al Dog here. Better late than never. The party can start because Al is here. Well, the party don't start till Al gets here. The party don't start till Al gets here. Al is here. What's going on? Alan Davis, we're glad to see you. So now they're saying here that the inter-service transfer will grow the Space Force's ranks of uniformed guardians, which the number is now roughly 6,490 by about 10%. And the bulk of the new Guardians, 603 of them, will come from the Army. Another 49 are coming from the Navy, and 18 are currently Marines. The service members include both officers and enlisted, and come from career fields such as space system operations, cyber operations acquisitions, engineering, and various intelligence positions, among others. And the move will also include 259 civilians coming along with Army and or Navy units shifting into Space Force. When civilians are included, the Space Force is projected to grow about another 7% in total. Can you imagine a bunch of people running around with their hands in their pockets, eyelashes, and their new updated outfits? Can you just imagine that? Can you imagine them hearing a car backfire with their hands in their pocket, their eyelashes, running around screaming, "They shooting! They shooting! Oh, they shooting! Oh!" I'm just saying. Can you imagine that? How mentally fit can you possibly be walking around with your hands in your pocket? That to me would get you. You would be in trouble. My dad would not. I guess that's the reason why my brothers are so on point. My brothers are so on point. It goes on to say, it says, now this is a quote from the Vice Chief of Space Operations, General David Thompson. He said, quote, "Successfully integrating the unit's capabilities and people from sister services onto the Space Force is critical to our mission and was one of the driving forces in creating the new service." It is the second inter-service transfer into the Space Force, but will be far larger than the first. In June, the service announced 50 soldiers, sailors, and Marines would also move as part of a beta test of the process to see how well integrating them would work, because eventually they're going to get rid of one of them. You only start integrating and testing stuff when you're going to get rid of something. You go out with the old and in with the new, and that goes in any platform or in any way of work. All right? As soon as they want to show you a new product, they'll give you a little bit of the product. They may put it out in test markets. They may try it in those markets and see how it works. And then they decide, okay, it worked well. Let's try it over here a little bit at a time over here. And then eventually you can't find that product that you use. I don't care whether it was a wax for your car or a body product that you ladies may like to use. Think about that. You may have been in love with one particular color, and all of a sudden they bring out a new color that's similar to your color, but it ain't your color. Now all of a sudden your color gone and you got to be stuck with this. Putrid mauve. A lipstick. Mauve. You didn't want that. Maybe pretty on somebody. Maybe an absolutely gorgeous color. But they used the testing to move out the old and bring in the new. So they're saying that they are working and making every effort to ensure that all Guardians feel a part of the team from the moment they are identified or for transfer. All right? Well, there's that. Oh, the Senate confirms. When was this? Yesterday? Last year? No. Senate confirms new vice chair of the Joint Chiefs. This just came out today. Well, let's get down with the get down. Now, this is new to me. For after a month-long gap, the military is set to get its new number two officer. A new number two officer. Well, what do you know? Chris Grady, Admiral Chris Grady, was confirmed to be the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in a Senate voice vote on Thursday night. Now, I'm wondering if they voted for that other guy, because if they did, I've already got a video prepared for the world as soon as that happens, because there's something about this dude. But I'm not going to say anything until I read a little further and see who else was confirmed. So now it goes on to say that his confirmation comes about a month after the previous vice chairman, General Hyten, or John Hyten, retired. President Joe Biden nominated Grady just weeks before Hyten's retirement, a delay that frustrated lawmakers and made a short vacancy inevitable, even with the Senate moving as quickly as it could to confirm the nomination. Grady, who previously led the Fleet Forces Command, will assume the role of the military's second highest ranking officer at a time when the United States is warily eyeing a Russian military buildup along with the Ukrainian border, with fears of Moscow could invade the Ukraine earlier next year. It don't matter. We ain't ready for that. The United States has been running its mouth by all of its outward things that we're doing. Cats like Russia, watch a mouth runner. So it goes on to say that at his Senate Armed Services Committee confirmation hearing earlier this month, Grady called Russia's threatening posture toward the Ukraine as, quote, a very dangerous and destabilizing situation that we're working our way through, closed quote. He goes on to continue that it's important for us to ensure that we work with our NATO partners and we continue to recognize the challenges that are faced by Russian activity in that area of the world, and then remain rock solid in our commitment until to the Ukrainian sovereignty. But you ain't tripping on our sovereignty. How come? It goes on to say, y'all got to pull me back. Ooh. The Ukrainian sovereignty to Ukraine's self-determination and their larger goals of ultimately perhaps moving forward with the alliance and whatnot, he said. It goes on to say that an appointment comes as the military also. Hold on, this might be my brother telling me that something is wrong. Hey, is everything okay? I'm live. Am I off? Am I down? Am I not no sound or? Okay. All right. Okay, then I'm fine. Huh? Yeah, sure. Okay, let me put you on.
I'll put you on mute.
Okay, I'm on mute. Okay. All right. So all right, yeah, so here we go. So basically what is going on here is this nice cat has a new cushy job. But I'm going to tell you that some of the realigning for all of this, maybe not so good. Maybe not so good. I'm going to tell you guys something in a second. So anyway, it goes on. Let's go back where we were. It's important to ensure we did that. We did that. Let's go down here. Grady largely breezed through his confirmation hearing earlier this month, and his nomination was advanced by the committee to the Senate floor earlier this week. During the hearing, Grady also expressed support for updating the U.S. nuclear arsenal to deter Russia and China, both countries that are way ahead of us. Okay, anyway, Russia and China, and after some prodding by Republican senators arguing the Biden administration's defense budget request was inadequate, expressed concern about the flat or declining defense budgets. He said, quote, Grady says, quote, I think that stable and predictable and adequate funding is important, and that it needs to keep pace with the threat and inflation. He had held his post as the Fleet Force's commander since May of 2018. Prior to that, he was the commander of the U.S. 6th Fleet and also spent time commanding the Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group. Now, here is the deal. This is what I was about to say about the whole, trying to beef us up with, against China and against Russia and all that. Those two countries allowed this country to blab off and show what we're doing while we take ourselves down. All right. We may have started with 10 points, but then all of a sudden we take 2 away and now we've got 8, and then we take another 4 away and now we're stuck with what's left. All right. They're already looking at us. They're already checking us out. They're already side-eyeing us. All right. And one thing I'll say about the cat that they always Russia about him, he ain't playing with nobody. This ain't what they. Oh, you know what? Well, they don't want us to go over there. No, that ain't what you want. Because that right there ain't what we want. That's not what you want. What we want to do is leave them folks alone. Because this is not your daddy's military. This ain't your mama's army. Hey, Stilgarda Freeman, it's good to see you, babe. Yeah, this ain't your mama's army. This ain't my great-grandfather's army. All right? These cats are not the kind of cats that's going to be down in the foxhole with you where you can trust them. Okay? You're going to have some issues in that foxhole. Some of the new recruits, you're going to have some issues in that foxhole down there with you. I just want to let you know. Okay? You're going to have some problems. Because what's down there inside of that foxhole with you, you ain't going to be too happy. You're going to be like, what manner of man is this? You gonna be down there in that foxhole, and he gonna talk. He gonna say he gonna be doing all kind of stuff. It's gonna be old dark 30. It's gonna be dark outside, and it's gonna be pitch black all around you. You guys are late. You guys are in the foxhole. Then all of us. I ain't gonna say what my mind is really thinking, but I'm gonna tell you, they gonna do something stupid like light a cigarette in the middle of the dark. Talking about, can't nobody see us now, man. We out here. We out here, yo. We out here. Can't nobody see us. And all of a sudden, you made yourself a moving target. Why? Because you're down here with Dodo. F Troop. We all got F Troop now. When we were laughing at the TV show F Troop back in the day, we were really laughing at a prophetic, futuristic story of what our military was going to look like. While we were cracking up laughing at Gomer Pyle, don't you know, we going to wish we had Gomer. We're going to wish that we had Gomer Pyle. All right, Sergeant, we're going to wish we had Gomer. Yeah, we are. Yeah, because this thing that they've created right now looks like garbage. No discipline. They've softened up. They've softened up the way that we do our when you first come in. What is it called? When you first come into the military, your boot camp. They've softened up boot camp. I lived on a military base where it was a training base down there at Fort Leonard Wood. And when I tell you they was in them people's faces, they were in those cats and those young ladies' faces. You want this? Okay, no problem. They were in their faces. They would bring them in through, being a wife on the base, working inside of some of the, I think I was working at I think it was the Burger King there. Can you believe that back in the 90s, they were paying like $11 an hour at Burger King on the base? But anyway, that's another story. But my point is, they would bring those poor people in there and they would be so just happy that anybody just gave them a smile. Here's your plate, here's your burger, and a smile. But when I tell you they was on them jokers, those dudes was no joke. Drill sergeants back then was the truth. Why? Because you got to be ready for warfare. If you not ready for warfare, this ain't the place for you. You can go on down there to Barnum and Bailey Circus. You can go hang out with them. Okay? All right? You can go, get on somebody's high rise and dance over there. But you do not take those type of mindsets and put them in a military place or a military establishment and think that what works in the world is going to work in the military, because it's about war. Frankly, I don't think we should ever even see our bases. I don't even think we should see the cats once they go. I don't even want to know military news. Over the past several years, I've become a little more cringed with the knowledge that I have. Because I believe that every single thing, whether it's a president you like or you do not like, every single thing they deal with, we do not need to know about as it relates to security things. Oh, he's over here. Oh, he's over there. Oh, him and him are both in the plane together today. I'm like, yo, who does this? So I just grew up with a different respect for military, a different respect for rule of law, rule of government, and all of that stuff. That government and how the people play in that, and how I really would like a smaller government personally, if any government at all. But then again, I'm a part of Yasharal, so my government, I don't got to worry about that. I'm just saying, since I'm in this land and not of this land, I don't like what I see. How about that? And this right here is a mess. This is a mess. This is a mess. This is a mess. This is our United States military. You be down there in the foxhole with somebody that you do not want to be down there with. Okay, hey, Mama Bear, what's going on? Oh, you did it at Fort Leonard Wood. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. I don't know how long ago that was for you, but way back in the day, now it's 2020, they were no joke. Okay? Steppenwolf says you never see a wolf at a circus. Okay? All right? The administration right now has made this military, and please excuse the expression, okay? Yeah, absolutely. And it's what they're allowing. And this is not what we want. And so that's why I say you cannot take the mindset of war and water it down to where you now have a bunch of people who will not have any strength. They will not have their backs. See, what happens when you're going through boot camp, just like what happens as you're going through your walk, your daily walk in life with Yah, what happens is you're being proven. And don't you know that when you're on the battlefield of life, you are being proven? Everything you've ever gone through has proven who you are. It's made you who you are. So either you're selling oranges at the on-ramp on Santa Monica Boulevard because you just checked out. There's two sides to that, though. Okay? All right? Or you're knocking somebody upside the head, taking from them because you've just checked out. Or you're taking the things that's happened to you, and like the guy that's sitting on the oranges was the other side of that story, on the Santa Monica Boulevard on-ramp, has now decided to become an entrepreneur and turned it around. Or you can get up and fight. There's several different ways that you can be successful when faced with adversity. And it does not come without first being proven. You must be proven. While you are going through boot camp, you are being proven. Are you ready for this task? If anything stronger than what what happened to you before you came here hit you, would you be able to handle it? If the enemy is in your face yelling and spitting all over you with bad breath and he's hollering at you, are you going to be able to take it? Are you going to give him anything more than your social security number, your name, rank, and serial number? Have you been proven? Have you been tested? Have you been tried? Have you gone through the fire? As pure gold, you want to come out, but have you been, why would you ever come out as pure gold? Why does anybody ever gain rank? You gain rank because you are proving who you are every day. This military is not in any shape to prove themselves. And the American people pushing out money like $700 billion last year. Now $770 billion this year. And billions before that, and billions before that, and lost trillions because of the Pentagon years before that. We don't know what we've been paying for. We've not been proven, and no one has given us any proof that what we've been paying for will protect our borders, as evidenced by what's been going on at them. So I submit that you don't want a bunch of cats walking around with their hands in their pocket and eyelashes on. I don't care. All right. But to our point before we close here, the issue was we brought the eyelashes up and we brought the brand new dress code for the Air Force up because our point is it's a lot worse than we thought it was if these are the things that they're arguing about. All right, you guys, I am going to be leaving you here in a second because I've got to go over to Blog Talk Radio where we are doing our Friday show. And if you want to go to that, I will put it in the description. Actually, I digress, not the description. I'll put it in the community tab for you guys to join me. If you want to join, you can actually call in and you can have something to say. That's all. You want something to say, talk about it. It doesn't matter. It can be on the topic, it can be off the topic, as long as it's segued correctly and we put you on there. Hey, Ronnie Van. All right? All right? I think I may have come out as 10. No, you didn't. You still here. Okay? You still here. Okay? You still here, so you good. I had all airborne Rangers for drill units. The toughest battalion is in basic. The only all-male battalion left on post at the time. Yeah, I loved it there. I lived on, oh goodness, I don't remember my street. But yeah, we lived over there in the big houses, the nice houses over there they had to be big because we had a whole bunch of kids. Okay. All right. Yes, so it'll be actually, I'm going to put the phone number over there inside of the community tab. So as soon as we get off here, I hope that those of you who can, yes, you're welcome, Alan, that those of you who can, because I know that Mama Bear, Papa Bear was there. Mama Bear, Papa Bear is the same phone number that it was last week. It's my call-in number. It's the same exact number that people can call in and listen to. So it's literally a phone number. You listen to it on your phone. You hit the number 1 if you want to talk. All right. If you don't want to talk, you hit the number 1, right? Mama Bear, hit the number 2 if you do want to talk. I don't know because I'm on the other side. But my point is that's where I'm getting ready to go. All right. Now, some of the other stories that we were going to talk about was, oh yeah, I'm just going to show you the headlines. All right, let me show you the headlines, and I'll just skim them for you really quickly so that at least we know we've gotten over this, because this is important. So the fathers of virtual reality, all right, Jaron Lanier warns that social media is dopamine that reprograms your brain and explains why you should delete your social media accounts. Really quickly, it says there's a popular saying that when a product is free, you are the product. For about 2 decades now, Facebook, now called Meta, has been making billions off of your back and the back of your children's, and billions off the people on its platforms. Facebook has now become a part of people's daily lives, and millions of young children are now hooked onto Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Excessive usage to these platforms can be harmful when it becomes an addiction. Last month, Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen, I hope I didn't mispronounce that, accused Facebook of choosing profit over safety of billions of people on its platform, saying, quote, I've seen a bunch of social networks, and it was substantially worse at Facebook than it was, or than I had seen before. Facebook over and over again has shown that it chooses profit over safety. In the 2010s, for example, Facebook found itself in hot water after revelations that the social giant was collecting personal data belonging to millions of Facebook users, and it was collected without the consent by British consulting firm Cambridge Analytica. However, the issues with Facebook and other social media sites are not just about the billions of dollars made from selling users' data to advertisers. Social media addiction is another issue that worries researchers and scientists, as studies conducted in 2015 found that the brains of people who report compulsive urges to share social network sites like Facebook, what it shows some brain patterns similar to those found in drug addicts. Take your teenager's phone. Heck, take your phone. Leave it. Lose it. Lose it and see what'll happen. Take your kid's phone. Lose it. See what'll happen. But says that's not all. A recent 2002 study also links excessive Facebook use to depression. The researchers who conducted the study said that Facebook addiction may share, I think they're trying to say addiction because it says addition, may share the symptoms as addiction or an addiction to cocaine and gambling or alcohol. However, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg doesn't seem to care much about the mental health of millions of children on his Meta platforms. During several congressional hearings in 2020, Zuckerberg was asked whether he believed that there's a connection between children's declined mental health and Facebook use. He objected to that statement by saying, quote, I don't think that the research is conclusive on that, closed quote. Now Zuckerberg is doubling down with the launch of what may be called the embodied internet. The embodied internet, the metaverse. But experts warn that Facebook's metaverse should worry everyone. One of those experts is Jaron Lanier, Lanier, who is considered the father of virtual reality and a veteran of Silicon Valley. Lanier is a computer scientist, visual artist, computer philosopher, and writer, a futurist as well as a composer of contemporary and classical music. He is considered a founder of the field of virtual reality. Lanier and his friend Thomas Zimmerman, left Atari in 1985 to found VPL Research Incorporated, the first company to sell VR goggles and wired gloves. Fast forward to a few years later, Lanier began to work at Microsoft in 2006. From 2009, he worked at Microsoft Research and as interdisciplinary scientist is what he did as well. Now, in his book, The 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media Accounts Right Now, it goes on to say that Lanier argues that sites like Facebook and Twitter are dopamine farms that are reprogramming how you think and feel, he says. They're also causing political instability and are changing the global economy for the worse. Below is an excerpt of Sadie Smith, the author of Feel Free, about Lanier's book. Quote, Lanier demonstrates the ways in which our social media accounts make us not consumers, but the product. Our very connection monitored by unseen third parties who harvest our data, monetize our communication, and curate and manipulate our behavior, close quote. Now below is a video that's here that we will not play, but it does go on to say that there's a video that's here discussing why social media and its algorithms are harming your health and what you can do about it. Now, I'm not sure where this is. It looks like it's a YouTube video, which means that I don't know who it belongs to and I can't see. So I don't want to play something and it could be somebody else's. But yeah, that's it. This is the guy. This story came from one of our subscribers. Okay? All right? This came from the viewer's mailbag. My mailbag button broke. But when you guys get to meet the mailbag button, you will understand that the mailbag button is a good button, if there ever was a good button to have. And I miss it, because right now I'd be clicking it to let you guys know that this came from the viewer's mailbag, and that is from Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. Now, even though I don't eat it, I'm going to give you this last couple of stories here because I want you guys to know it. And even though I do not eat it, okay, because it is very, very fuzzy, I want to be honest and let you know. I ain't better than you because I used to grub up on bacon. I used to love bacon. I loved it, bacon, baby. I loved it. But will the new bacon law begin? California grocers seek a delay. Well, let's crack it open and find out what it's all about, Alfie. This story also comes from one of our viewers, Felicia at FeliciaLockhart.com. A coalition of California restaurants and grocery stores has filed a lawsuit to block the implementation of a new farm animal welfare law, adding to uncertainty about whether bacon and other fresh pork products will be much more expensive or in short supply in the state of California when the new rules take effect on New Year's Day. The lawsuit is the latest step in a tumultuous 3-year process of enacting rules overwhelmingly approved by voters, but that remain in question even as the law is set to begin, since voters approved for Proposition 12 by a 2-to-1 ratio in November of 2018. The state officials have missed deadlines for releasing specific regulations covering the humane treatment of animals that provide meat for the California market. Most hog producers haven't made the changes to comply with the law, and a new coalition of business owners is seeking more than a 2-year delay, saying, quote, "We are saying that this is not going to work." Nate Rose, a spokesman for the California Grocers Association, said. While the groups are working to delay the measure, the state has eased the transition to the new system, and it has allowed all pork processed under the old rules and held in cold storage to be sold in California in 2022, which could prevent the shortages for weeks or even months. As Josh Balk, who leads the farm animal protection effort as the Humane Society of the United States, put it, California residents need not fear, quote, pork industry claims of the apocalypse, closed quote. Put simply, the law requires that breeding pigs, egg-laying chickens, and veal calves be given enough space to stand and turn around. For pigs, that means they no longer can be kept in narrow gestation crates, and they must have 24 square feet or 2.23 square meters of usable space. Producers of eggs and veal appear able to meet the new law, but hog farmers argue that the changes would be too expensive and it could not be carried out until the state approved final regulations for the new standards. An estimate from North Carolina State University found that the new standard would cost about 15% more per animal for a farm with 1,000 breeding pigs. The National Pork Producers Council is challenging California's right to impose standards on businesses in other states, but so far those efforts have failed. California is the nation's largest market for pork, and producers in major hog states like Iowa provide more than 80% of the roughly 255 million pounds that California residents and groceries use each month, according to Robobank, a global food and agricultural financial service. Without that supply, it's unclear if a state that consumes about 13% of the nation's pork supply will have all of the meat it demands. The North American Meat Institute and the industry group said packers and processors will do their best to serve the California market, closed quote. It continues with, "What will happen in California? I don't know," said Michael Formica. Now, he is the general counsel for the National Pork Producers Council. He continues with, "One thing we know is there will be finite supplies to sell there," closed quote. Adding to the uncertainty of the lawsuit filed last month in Sacramento, California by the California Grocers Association, the California Restaurant Association, as well as the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, California Retailers Association, and Cruz & Sons, a meat processor, the suit seeks a 28-month delay until the final regulations for enforcement of the rules are finally adopted. California Agriculture and the health departments have said the voters backed the measure. They didn't give them enough time to approve final regulations, and the agencies were still accepting the public comments for the revisions in December. Now that means that it could be months before the final rules are approved. Given that delay, the groups claim that in the lawsuit that they can't be sure they're complying and could just be subject to penalties stipulated in the law. Quote, "Our concern is our uncertainty." This was from Rose, the Grocers Association's attorney, and he also goes on to say that he said that a judge has scheduled a hearing for March, but that the group is pushing for an earlier date. If the law takes effect on January the 1st, 2022, then it's possible the state could avoid immediate shortages or steep price increases because the industry has about 466 million pounds or 211 million kilograms of pork in storage. Not all of that meat can be sent to California, of course, but when combined with the new supplies from processors that meet the new standards, it should meet at least some of the demand. If there is a disruption, it would be significantly smooth. This comes from Daniel Sumner, a professor of the University of California, UC Davis. All right? And they teamed up with the colleagues to study the price and the supply implications for Proposition 12. The story does go on, and I'm going to go on ahead and once this is up, give me about an hour because I'm going to add some of the stories that we did not talk about here into the description box, and you guys will be able to go back and click it. Now, here is what I see in this. What I see in this is even though I may not eat pork, that doesn't mean anything. California has some of the strictest laws as it relates to agriculture. And some of them are very, very, very archaic. Others are a little draconian. Their rules as it relates to cows, look up what they've got to say about cows because I got 30 minutes to go here, but look at what they do with people who own cows, cow farmers. Look and see what happens. Now, Bakersfield, California was nothing but lush, wonderful earth to put animals and to grow vegetables and fruits and all that stuff at one point in history. It's a joke right now. But what they're doing is they again are setting precedents all over the United States is what they're doing. Whatever goes in California is definitely going to go in other places. Now, I don't know exactly why they felt the need to have to design all this fancy stuff for the pigs in California, when in California, their homeless are all huddled up on top of each other. And it's ironic to me that people will find the time to defend the animals, which is not a problem to do, but you should start with the humans first. You've got homeless after homeless after homeless being shuffled and shifted all over California right now. Just for an example, if they are hanging out in one particular park and you got some folks coming in from a nice country or whatnot, all of a sudden the governor or the city's mayor will say, hey, we got to get rid of these people. You can't even get inside a Starbucks without these folks hanging around. And so then they make it illegal to hang here. And then they put them over there. So this California is amazing. They've paid people upwards of $25 to $30 an hour just to pick up poop from humans in the state of California. Please, let's keep it all in perspective, what we're talking about. We're talking about California, all right? They have needles that they pass out. This is the most dystopian place that I could think we could ever have, but it's in the United States. So they're doing stuff, and I tell you, it's a lot far reaching than what we think it is. It's not just about the poor little piggies. No. One little piggy went to the store. One little piggy went to the market. One went wee all the way home. But this story really ain't about them pigs. This story is about preventing you from having any meats, even if this is what you eat. If you eat pork, the people who voted for this in the state of California got a lot of nerve. Because I know a whole lot of folk that have big old pork for Easter. What they gonna do for the Easter? You can't get no pork. You can't get no pig. You can't get none of that. You can't get none of that. You can get your Easter pig. You know y'all be eating them Easter pigs. Y'all be getting your chitterlings. Yes, you do, black folks. You know I know you. You know I know you. You're my brothers and sisters. You're my brothers and sisters. So you know that you know that you know that these folks are going to be doing all kinds of stuff because they're not going to be able to get their pork. But they vote stupid stuff in. Why? Because they do not read and they do not listen to what is real. Now, the deal is even though I do not eat pork, if I were a voter in that town at that time, I would have voted against this. Why? Because I see where it was heading. And now they're about to have a mess. But if it works, it's going to work everywhere. I guarantee you of that. It will work everywhere. Our final story is going to be this one. I'm going to read this one really quickly. We can talk about it later on when I come back. And it's Yale researchers develop an mRNA-based Lyme disease vaccine. This comes from one of our members of the chat. Yeah. And I'm just going to read it to you here. It says that Yale researchers have developed an mRNA vaccine against the Lyme disease that triggers an immune response at the site of a tick bite and provides partial protection against the disease-causing bacteria. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Anyway, in a paper published on November 17th in the Science Translational Medicine Journal, scientists studied specific ticks called, you guys, zyodes. I think that's it. Zyodes scapulare, all right? That carry the Lyme disease-causing bacteria called Borrelia. And there's another word. It looks like Burgdorferi. Okay. According to this cat's name, Gunjan Aurora. Is this some type of test? Okay, it's a test. I don't know. I'm not going to say any of these things 4 or 5 times fast, but I guarantee you this has got to be a test. Moving on. One of the first authors of the paper and the associated research scientists at the Yale School of Medicine, Lyme disease is the fastest growing vector-borne illness in the United States, with close to 500,000 people affected every year. Currently, there are no commercially available vaccines for Lyme disease, and this novel vaccine is a unique thing, and it targets the vector transmission of the tick rather than the actual pathogen itself, which is why I was asking the question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm going to stick it over here so you guys can see it. It makes it easier for me to do it this way. All right? All right, so this is the story. Really? So, okay, here we go with the mRNA stuff again. Yeah. I said it. Think about it. Think about it. It says, quote, Lyme disease is the most common tick-borne human illness in the United States, leaving an urgent need. Urgent. Emergency. Urgent. Oh, sorry. An urgent need for either therapies or preventative strategies such as a vaccine. We got to do it. Jacqueline Matthias dos Santos. Whoa, that's a mouthful if you really think about what her name means. Is a co-first author on the paper and a postdoctoral associate at the School of Medicine, wrote in an email to the news saying, quote, our vaccine is unique in that we don't actually target the pathogen, we target the vector instead. This strategy can work for the Borrelia because it takes around 24 hours of tick feeding for the pathogen to be transmitted. This offers a unique opportunity to disrupt transmission. Additionally, by targeting the vector, we don't expect this to drive resistance by the pathogen, closed quote. Let that all sink in. Let it all sink in. You can see where the story comes from up here. We've got to give credit where it's due, from the Yale News. And this again came from one of our trusty people in the chat. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here because I got to hang it up and get on to another platform. But if you'd like to join me, please do. We will be at the end of that preposition. And I love when I say that because Ronnie says I say that wrong, but it's okay. It's all right. It's all good. I said it. So you guys, listen, check me out. We had it up in the old community tab last week. The number doesn't change. If it's still there, which I'm sure it is because I haven't taken it off of either channel, either the Lockhart Perspective or Headlines with the Voice, it is still there. And it tells you exactly what the phone number is for you to join us over there on Blog Talk. I will say this, just like I did last week, that everybody that's over there may not be like you. Be respectful and understand you may hear different views. You may hear different viewpoints. You may hear freedom of speech over yonder. And if you do, be respectful. Okay? All right, you guys. I want you all to remember what I always say, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah. You guys take care of yourselves and take care of one another. Until we see each other again, please continue to be blessed. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way, helping you to make it through another day.